Hello, greetings and salutations, everybody. I'm trying to get in the right light because otherwise it'll just make everything kind of funky. But that's sort of how I live my life anyway. So what the heck? I'm John Nelson, the plugin CEO of JKL Works and pluginbusiness.com and .net. And thanks for checking this out. We are kind of in between series, so we're going to sort of wrap up what was talked about before. And, as far as real ways to bring about that real business life change. So we're real ways to jumpstart it anyway. And so I wanted to wrap this up by testing something on you all, if I may. A version of this will be on our website very soon. It is an opportunity to introduce people who haven't been watching these videos. And we thank you, all of you who have. This has been awesome. The response to these has been great. So really do appreciate it. And so we're going to kind of do a soft live version of this with a little more content from you folks who have been around a while, who have been paying attention, at least I hope. And I hope we've added some value to your business and to your life, and at least got you thinking about some things that not everybody else is getting you to think about. So I hope that has value to you. But to do this, I want to talk about three aspects. These are review for some of you. So three aspects of what I think are the best tools out of that to really bring about that real business life change we talk about. What if you really had to narrow it down? What are three strategies that will absolutely make a game-changing difference to anything else you do? And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And so, like I said, I hope it has some value. I'll try to, go over some of the parts that we already know or that really aren't necessarily intended for you. When this does show up on the website and a few other places, it's actually going to be kind of cool. It's going to be an interactive presentation. So you get the chance to click on certain places in there and watch what happens when you do, the different choices that come along. Thanks to the folks at Voomly and some other, this is going to be kind of neat. So, but it's really intended to introduce folks and to narrow down, because all of these strategies we've been going through, they are really in depth, some of them, and many of them may be familiar to you, but a few of them probably were not. And so I really want to get you thinking on what's happening here and why your business should pay attention. But to me, if you master these three different strategies here, it doesn't matter what other prospecting methods you try. It certainly is prospecting season, and you should be out there doing that. But I hope to arm you with something so much more that whenever you do start prospecting, all of a sudden you start making inroads. You start making a difference in ways that other people just aren't. And that you'll be having much more success because you've thought through these things, because you work through them, because you're not paralyzed by them, and because and you have the confidence to know that you have really been working this out. And so then whenever you start to take all that on, it's going to make a big whopping difference for you, okay, in your prospecting efforts. So these are three ways to jumpstart that real business life change. So let's get right to it. Because in the beginning, I'm actually going to, really go through these. So to you all, they shouldn't be a huge surprise, right? So so what we do, of course, for those who don't know, is my company can find any business, at least we can uncover for them at least $50,000 in profits, revenues that they've been leaving on the table, money they have been leaving out there that they have not been taking advantage of. We can do that by running 3 to 4 different strategies just to start. And later we get into some more. So we're going to start with 3 here. And some of these are actually the ones that get used in our what we call the success blueprint, the digital success blueprint that we'll get to in just a second. We can do all this in about 50 minutes or so. Right. And so then after that, we come alongside you to implement all of that. But that's in the success blueprint and the digital success blueprint. And we'll talk about the differences in those two in just a little bit. But they're only minor. They're just aimed at a different type of business. And the success digital blueprint, the digital success blueprint has it employs a few different strategies in a few different orders. and we've talked about in past videos, as to, including the one last time, as to why it's different, and what the different angle is, and which business it's designed to help, right? So we put all this together into what makes the JKL Works ecosystem, along with Plug-in Business, and we have Success Academies, we have blueprints all over the place, and this is what we do. This is the main part of what we sell, particularly that phrase up top in the center, is really what we do at the heart of what we do, and what we offer. So if that is something that your business, because there's a lot of digital marketers in here, and marketing agencies, and if y'all are paying attention, I said y'all and used it in a sentence. I'm in Southeast Texas. Deal with it. But if you're willing to do that, not only can we do that for your business, but we can actually come alongside your clients with something not everybody else is doing, but perhaps should. So we're able to do that, and that's something that they're not getting out there. And then, hey, there's marketing that's all a part of that. It's business and marketing optimization. So we can throw that marketing back to you, obviously, where you handle that. It's your client in the first place. We're not there to take it over. We're there to make what you offer better. So, but also that's true for home services type of folks, and the health and wellness community. So those are the three that we're kind of going after here with some of this. So there's going to be specialty content for each one of those groups on our website, talking about these very things, with videos, with special breakdowns, with some special messaging that's applicable to each one of those. So that's really what we do. All right. So the reason you're here is these three strategies that will really change your business. So I want you to suspend what you're doing for just a second. Suspend some of the other things that all the marketing folks are out there talking about. They're very good, many of them. They are really giving of their value. Just saw Sheena Lee Kinnerly back in the atmosphere here a couple days ago. Good to see her back, but saying many of the same things. I was amazed. I went back and watched some of her other stuff, and it's like, oh wow, this really does all align together, because it's good advice. And we're not just saying that to pat ourselves. This is from experience. This is from getting out there. This is from talking to people. This is from the strategies that really start to get attention and to cut through what everybody else is doing. So they actually give you a look. They give your business a chance, an opportunity to really stand out against the thousands or tens of thousands in the digital marketing space, literally tens of thousands of little companies or people or individuals or freelancers doing what we all do. So take this as the chance to begin to reach out. So we're going to introduce those strategies with three questions. All right. First one, does your business have a market dominating position? So now, what is that? For those of you who've been watching, yes, you've been watching, but this is the not only what makes your business unique, but the way in which you address the hot button issues that your specific customers have. This is what creates a market dominating position, is your ability to do that. Not only can you give them the best service out there, but you understand their business. Maybe you were a part of their business. You're like one of my former customers. They were chiropractors, or they dealt specifically with chiropractors as a marketing agency, but that's because they had a chiropractor as part of their ownership, who was coaching them every step of the way as the things he wished he had. And so then they turn that into what makes their business successful. Still going, as far as I know, and that door is still open. I fulfilled my obligations to them, but I hope to have another opportunity to come alongside with something like this. So, but anyway, are you addressing the hot button issues that your customers have? You have studied them so thoroughly, and you position yourself that only your business, within can meet those needs, or fewer businesses than others, and you're the one out there. You're speaking their language so completely. It's like you're inside their head. You're anticipating these things before they say them, because you know how to meet those needs. Specifically not only what product or service is going to do that, but how it's going to do that. And we'll get into that in just a minute when we start talking about the second item. So does your business have a market dominating position? Okay. However big your market is. Okay. And for those of you that are online, that's obviously a lot bigger, but the same thing can still apply. How do you stand out? Yes, maybe there's a few more people that do what you do, but how do you stand out against them to make yourself unique, to really speak to these issues? I ask marketers this all the time, the people that pitch me all the time, and they just don't have they shut down. They don't have an answer for this. So the sooner you can come up with one, the more ahead you will be. And when you reach out to prospect people, if they ask at all, I mean, one, you should be volunteering it by speaking their language. But two, if they do ask, you have a ready answer. Okay. So you need to be able to answer this question first and foremost. The second one you need to be able to answer is, does your business have a compelling offer? That's an offer that's so good that it meets their needs so completely. We talked about just a second ago about who are the people that you actually market to. Who's the customer base that you're out there, that you're speaking their language? You've got their hot button issues down. Now, what is your offer? Just sent that out this afternoon to somebody, because so many people, I'm blown away by, they first start their business. They first start going, okay, they're ready to spread the word. And somebody has gotten in their head that the first thing they need are these big websites, and they need SEO, and they need to run all these ads, and they need to go to the absolutely most expensive thing possible with the, modest return maybe. Now, do you need some of that stuff? Yes. You need an online presence of some sort that answers the questions. I mean, it doesn't have to be overblown. There's so much of that out there, and all due respect to the people who do those things, I hope you baby step them into it. And you might get more business by talking them down from things they don't need yet than you ever will constantly upselling them. And that's all you do. If you can narrow somebody down to a funnel site, and that needs, because that's all they really need to meet their needs, it just has their offer and works through it. I mean, you're showing them value right off the bat just by not going for the home run. And that lets you hang around to have other opportunities to, when it is time for something more that they need, to be that person or that company that provides those solutions. And they know you're not going to, try to pillage them, like a pirate. There's so much out there. So does your offer meet their needs so completely that they would be an absolute idiot not to do business with you? Is your offer so good that later on, if they pass it up, they're kicking themselves going, I wish I'd have done, what was I thinking? How do I get a hold of those people again? How many times has that happened? How many times have you come across people where that's happened, where they said, I wished I'd have hung on to that contact thing because that offer really was good, and now I can't find them again? That's a whole nother issue. But you make it so good the first time that they just can't pass you up. And then if they do, that's, I guess, up to them, because if your offer is that good, many people will not pass you up. They will give you a shot. They will at least give you a chance to get to the next stage, to show why you're different. And then you'll have had all that work put together that makes that complete, so you don't have to. All right, third question. Are you doing some marketing fundamentals that helps you keep the customers that you have? So, I mean, is your product or service, you want to grow your client, you want to serve and grow your clients. And are these marketing fundamentals doing that for you? Are they working for you behind the scenes? The first two are kind of before the sale. This is kind of after the sale. So are you serving them well after the sale in a way that makes sense? And that's what these marketing fundamentals we're going to talk about help to answer. That's a question that they help realize for you, if that makes any sense at all. So, and it will here in the coming minutes. Okay. So we are going to answer those questions in a little bit more. And, and we do answer them in our success blueprints, as we've talked about before. The success blueprint, which is for a local or business that has an actual location, Whether or not they actually see customers at that location, they don't have to. There's some offices that have no business seeing customers, or it's just not in their model because they're a service and they're out servicing people. They don't need to come to their office. Or is whether if you're an online business or a digital marketing agency, then the digital success blueprint is ideal for you. So these are the two things that we try to get to. And these are the strategies we just discussed are all represented here, particularly the first two. But then we oftentimes end up at the other ones as well as we begin to answer those questions and work through. So success blueprint, digital success blueprint, that is what we aim for. And if you find this presentation later, it will actually be a little more interactive. And you can go right to those success blueprints after we've asked these questions, or you can go a little bit further on and actually hopefully get the meat out of this training. So, all right, so let's do that, right? So these are let's talk about first the market dominating position. Okay, so I beat it up a little bit there, but I want to beat it up just a little bit more by asking these questions. All right, so. Ask yourself this: what makes my business unique? What makes my business unique? Okay. What makes what I do different? And you say, well, nothing. Okay. Is that a problem for you that it's nothing? How are you different from all the other chiropractic services in your area? How are you different from all the electricians and plumbers and propane folks in your area? Why should, well, let's just go to the next question because it just speaks to that. Why should somebody choose you? Why should somebody choose your business over anybody else? Why should somebody choose your HVAC service over anybody else? Just had to do that recently here in the southern United States in the summer. We get capacitors popping all the time, particularly in the summer because it gets kind of hot. So they then that's haymaking time for the HVAC world. So just as winter is haymaking time for my clients in the propane world. So I mean it's why should somebody choose your business? What makes your business unique? What makes it stand out? Even if you're a freelancer, okay, what do I do as a freelancer in the marketing space that nobody else is doing, that nobody else should, but it's tremendous value. It's one thing to do stuff nobody wants. Okay. And I get that, but it's another to what makes your particular version of SEO more effective than others. What makes the hot button one right now, of course, is prospecting. And I don't know about you all, but daily I am, prospected with, hey, are you getting enough clients? Hey, if I could bring you X number of clients right now, in a month, what would that be to you? Okay. So, but all these offers in so many ways are basically the same. They really are. There's no compelling reason for me to go look at any of these people more than anybody else. You have to find out what that reason is. And you have to do enough research that you're really jumping in and challenging. This is what we've got to do in our prospecting because ours is a little different. We're going to really be looking at these businesses. If somebody messages me and I'm even remotely interested, you best believe, just so you know, that I'm looking you up. I'm trying to find out who you are. I'm trying to find out what you do and what you offer. And many of the folks that are savvy are doing the same thing. So you need to have some kind of presence that reflects what you do and why somebody should choose you. That really answers these two questions right here. How is my business unique? And why should somebody choose my company over anybody else or my product or service? All right. Third one is, who are the best customers for what you offer? Have you done that research? Are you looking? I named off three, my three that I'm going after. Who are yours? Maybe it's just one group. And if it's big enough, that's okay. No problem. That's perfect even, because then that's less fragmentation of your message. We talk about this often, and others that are in our little circle would talk about this as well. Who is your target audience? Who is your avatar? Who is your ideal group that you're reaching to that's going to solve those, that's going to, you can solve their issues more completely than anybody else. All right. And the final thing is, what hot button issue can you address for somebody that where you're truly speaking their language? So that is the breakdown of the market dominating positions, like we talked about earlier. It is in these 4 questions. It is in these 4 things right here, that if you can come up with solid answers for these, and it's going to take some time. This is like, I don't want to paralyze you on this, because, like, everybody has to write the mission statement, and that's the most paralyzing thing ever they do. But really, what this is going to result in, all of it, is particularly coming up in the next section, we start talking about compelling offers. But this is going to result in a simple statement that explains what you do and how it begins that journey for somebody, and what that difference is. And I'm going to give you a formula to help that. But you're essentially creating an elevator pitch, and an elevator pitch that is so unbelievably compelling, that speaks their language all in one sentence, and that they just can't help but do the work. But you got to answer these 4 things first before you embark on any of this work from home stuff that everybody loves to do. You have got to find a way to stand out, guys. You must. If you don't, you are just another me too, and you'll get discouraged with this, and you'll go away. I know this because last fall, in 2023, I determined that my company was a me too. There was really nothing compelling that I was offering that would help it. And I had clients going on. And it just, the more I worked with it, I mean, those engagements came to an end, saw them through. But at the same time, I realized I wasn't offering anything different. They didn't have any compelling reason to choose me, to choose my company, to choose the people I could connect them with that would solve their problems. They really had no good reason to do that, other than the relationship that I had built and the reputation that came along with it and the results we were getting. Yes, those are good, and they're worth something, and they're an important part of this. We'll talk about that in a minute. But at the same time, there wasn't a lot I was doing that was standing out. And so this is answering this question to start with. These questions here, and creating that market dominating position, is the first place that you stand out. Even if it means you don't dominate your market because it's huge and you're online and your market is all the world, or at least all the United States, or all one country, and there's no way you could possibly dominate that position. It's like creating something, going above and beyond creating something, and then benefiting from that work you did, even though you did not achieve the full result. Okay. I'm not going to dominate my market in what I do. There's other people that do what I do. I'm connected to them and associated with them. However, there are enough people that don't realize yet how my company can add value, that will be able to come along and solve that for them. So I will dominate in the areas that I want to dominate, and I'll get enough business out of it. And I'm also thinking I'm servicing a few people that not everybody else is going after. So that's creating the market dominating position. All right. So let's talk about the compelling offer now. This is an offer that is so good that someone would be a fool to pass it up. They'd be an idiot not to do business with you. Why? Not because of, somebody, and I've been on the receiving end of this. And to be honest, when I first started, I got a little bitter about it too. So I guess I can't say much about this, other than it's still in your best interest to take the high road. Of whenever you're prospecting somebody, you're doing sales, you're trying to do outreach, you're trying to connect with somebody, and not only does it not work, it flops, and they let you know about it, or they ghost you, and you get bitter about it, and you get upset about it, and you get really tweaked about it, which you just have to learn over time. You just can't do. I mean, it doesn't serve anybody any good, especially you. It doesn't do you any good whatsoever. So I've done my share of bitter there too. But if you can if you can resolve this in such a way because you've done that work, because you understand who these people are and you understand how your product or service will change their business life or change their personal life for that matter, depending on what it is and where it is, then they can't help but be a part of it. They can't help but, the people that really need it will say yes to it, and you will prosper, and you will do all the things that this online business type of world promises that you can do. You will truly be living your dream with that compelling. So let's talk about a little bit of this. So we can narrow this down to three things. All right. And some of these might be familiar to some of you. So the first one is, who do you serve? When you're trying to create and determine this compelling offer, who do you serve? Okay. Who is the group? Who is the niche? Doesn't have to be a niche necessarily. It should be a group of people somewhere, because you should be able to speak their language. Okay. So what are you going to offer them that's going to bring about that change? That's what product or service can you connect with them on that will make that truly make that difference for them? What does your business offer that can make that difference for them? And then how? This is the mechanism. This is the transformation. How are you going to make this happen for them? Right? So the who, the what, and the how. Okay. And there's even a fourth aspect. There's a second aspect to the how we're going to talk about in just a minute. Okay. But let's break this down just a little bit if we can. All right. The who. This is your dream client. This is your avatars. This is your people that you've researched. Doesn't necessarily have to be a niche, though I can't imagine how it wouldn't be a niche. Okay. So just start with that, even if you want to bounce around, because not choosing a niche means you have to change this message for every single client that comes along. If that's not appealing to you, and it shouldn't be, then you're going to have to work that out. So I'm getting blown up and messaged here. You can tell with somebody about this already. Okay, so the other thing is, so who is the one? Who's your dream group of clients? Who's the client that you can answer those, that you can get inside their head? You know what their hot button issues are, right? That's part one of the compelling offer, because you have to know who you're talking to. Okay. The second thing is, what transformation are you going to? What product or service are you going to bring that gives them that transformation, that really makes this happen for them, that changes their life? So that's the second part of this anatomy of the compelling offer. Who are you talking to? But now, what are you going to bring them? What do you have that's going to make that difference for them that nothing else can? What do you have that's so good that's going to make it? It's going to make it happen for them. Okay. And then the third is the how. What are the entry points? What is the journey? What is the mechanism? How are you going to make this happen for them? How long does this take? That's a part of the whole process. So we're going to dwell on these for a minute, because this is the true anatomy of that compelling offer. So, what transformation, what product or service are you going to bring that brings about that transformation? And then how's it going to happen? How are you going to do it? Sometimes it's the how that makes the difference. In a world of very similar products marketed to very similar people, the difference could be the how. Okay. How you do it that is so magical, that is something special that none of the rest of them can match. And that is your offer. That is not only your market dominating position, but that is also your compelling offer. These really go hand in hand, as you can see. But there's one final aspect to it's like the how part two. All right. And that is, how are you going to manage risk? More importantly, how are you going to take that risk away from the client such that they will try you? How are you going to take care of that risk and those fears for them? Just had an issue with that recently, a particular client. So what I do primarily is two words that I'm finding have a connotation with people that I have to deal with. This is business and marketing optimization, but we know that by another word right now that's more the buzzword, and that is coaching. Okay. And those, with all due respect to people who do this extremely well, there are many who don't. And as the saying goes, those that can't do teach, right? We've all heard that. Every place has their stereotype, and coaching or consulting is the other. Ooh, that used to be the fantastic word until Arthur Anderson and Anderson Consulting and Enron ruined it for everybody. So, so they've gone away from that. But the concept is still here. The concept is still strong. The concept is still needed of coaching, consulting, optimization. I like to say that my group is that we're the quarterback, we're the field general. We're not going to do this for you in your business. It's your job to do this in your business. But we want to be your advisor. We want to be your trusted confidant. There is some things that we are going to do for you because we know how to do them better than you. We're going to do reactivation campaigns and reaching out to your customers. Or at least hand you everything to do it, including the tools, and show you how it works. And then we're actually going to help you run it for you, particularly if it's in our software. If not, if it's in yours, then we make that happen for you. But those are still questions you got to answer. This is still risk we got to manage. This is still stuff that is important to take care of. So how are you going to manage risk? Can you add a guarantee to your clients? That's to your prospects to take care of their fears. How are you going to address their fears before they bring them up? And so all of these four things make that compelling offer statement. Okay. And how are you going to address each one of these? Right? How are you going to address who you're talking to, what you're going to offer, how you're going to do it in such a way that nobody else does, that's so different, and how are you going to manage that risk? Okay, so that looks like this. Right here this is how you create that offer that is absolutely unbelievable. So this is the formula right here that we're going to try to put into place, that we can put into place. And if you can fill in the things in those brackets. So the name of my program, so name of my product or service, right, is going to offer what in a time frame, but notice the last words here at the bottom, guaranteed. Okay. Can you do that? Can we do that? So it goes something like this. It's like ours is JKL Works with our success blueprint or our digital success blueprint and we make it accordingly for each one, can uncover at least $50,000 in profits for a business in 50 minutes, guaranteed. And then we will show you the roadmap to get them. I mean, I can do that within 10, 15 seconds. I can explain it to somebody. I have many times. And so if that's something that works with them, that triggers inside their head going $50,000, hey, how can we do that? Then we move on to the next part of that conversation. Okay. But I also sometimes have to back it up with other materials and other things. And so, it can make a big difference there. It can be something. So if you can fill in the blanks here with your statement, with your thing, with your whatever, and solve this, then I know this will be tremendous value to you, and this will create your compelling offer that they cannot say no to, because you've done all the work. You've answered those 4 questions. You've answered these previous 4 questions for them, and you've made it so stupid simple that you can sum it up in one sentence, and they'll either take it or they won't at that point. And if you've done your homework right, they'll be fools not to take it, because it's so good. It's so, as the name suggests, it's a compelling offer. It's so good. They just cannot pass it up. And they may walk away talking to themselves, trying to decide whether or not that is something that they really need at that time. But if you've done all your work and done all your research and done everything you need to, then it will result in success. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind this will result in success for you, but it does take some setup to do this. So that's why I say these two, the market dominating position and the compelling offer, are an absolute 1-2 punch. that not everybody is solving for. Certainly the digital marketers are not out there solving for it, guys. We're not. Okay. I came from that. I've been doing digital marketing since 2018. Okay. So it is a part of what we do. It is not all of what we do. So I'm enough in that community, and my contacts are in that community that I can speak to it. But if you can resolve these 1-2 punches here, then you'll be blown away at what this does for what you do for your prospecting and for your sales closing, because it just makes everything easy because you're speaking their language. They bring up something, you got an answer for it, which is empowering in and of itself. They bring up whatever, they have this concern, you got an instant answer, and then they want to go down that road. Oh, well, how do we do this? What are the steps? Well, okay, we're going to get to that, but before we get there, I can't tell you how many times I've had to, peel somebody off of whatever marketing strategy they've heard somewhere down the road because they don't have these two things in place. And so, yeah, we could make ads all day long, but what are they going to say? Is any of this accounted for? Because if it's not accounted for, you're just throwing money out there. You may as well take a bunch of money and just throw it out in the street, because it's going to get about the same result. Maybe you'll get some people, maybe they'll stop to pick it up, maybe they won't. But mostly it is, but if you do this, if you do your homework, if you put all this together, if you really take the time and research all of this, then it's like magic. You're going to reach the people. You're not going to reach everybody, and that's okay. But you're going to reach the people you want to reach. You're going to reach the people you want to work with. You're going to reach the people that you understand and that understand you. And then you're all of us. It's like you're connecting. It's like you're speaking their native language, and you're realizing these amazing results right off the bat, because it's like you're inside their head, because you understand them like nobody else does, and why they do what they do, and most importantly, how you can help them to do what they do better with the tools that you have. That is, whether that's home services, whether that's health and wellness, where you're working on your body, or whether that's digital marketing, where you're, getting them more customers. It's the same thing. Okay. So, but there's one more. I promised you 3 and I asked you 3 questions. So here we go. Let's talk about some marketing fundamentals. And there is a whole host of these that we work on, but I want to address 3 of them here. Just 3 of them alone, that if you handle these, the others were kind of before the sale. These are after the sale. Okay. These have to do with serving your customers and arming your customers and doing some really cool things with the existing customers you have to try to help you get more customers, right? So the first one is real communication. Now, what do we mean by that? What do we mean by real communication? This means keeping your client updated throughout the entire process. You worked so hard to reach out to them to get them, and I get it. There is such a thing as going so far the other direction, but where you over communicate to somebody. But I promise you, as a client, you will never over communicate to them enough. Okay. As an existing customer, you will never over communicate to them enough. And there's a big gulf there there's a big valley, there's a big canyon between what I see a lot of companies doing, where they barely talk. They work so hard to get these people, and then they disappear, and they barely work with them at all, other than the very basics that they need to know. That, and the some of the group over here that way over communicates, so they go the other direction and go high level. I'm looking at you. Leads gorilla. I am definitely looking at you. There is so much email communication there. I'm on, particularly with high level, it's multiple lists. So I'm getting the same thing 2 and 3 and 4 times. Okay. It's just the way it is, I guess. But that's the other side of that canyon. And there's a vast area in between that most people are not in, that you should be. That's what real communication is. It is keeping them as informed as they want to be. So err on the side of keeping somebody more informed, taking them through that customer journey, not just the buyer's journey, but the customer journey. They become your customer. Now, how do we work through this? Because I'm here to tell you, if you leave them to their imagination will run wild, and you will be amazed at what they come up with that is not true, that is completely stereotypical. They talked to their brother-in-law and they said this about marketing and they said whatever about, and it just goes off the rails. But if you're constantly talking to them and you're constantly keeping them up to date, and more to the point, you're including them in that process, you're giving them things to do in that process. One of the beauties about our ProfitWorks implementation, at every single level, and we'll talk about those in just a minute, but every single level deals with, we get 1 hour, most except for one, it is an hour a week of time together. It is keeping them up to date with tasks. They have tasks to do. We have tasks to do. We are working with them. We are not doing this for them, other than very small, portions of it that we can do that they don't know how to do. They don't know how to do a reactivation, probably, but we do, right, marketers? So, I mean, it is doing those things that we're supposed to do for them, but we have responsibilities, they have responsibilities, and we collaborate together to make that happen. That's what real communication looks like. That takes care of fears and wandering imaginations, and that really cements your relationship, because that can then lead to the second marketing fundamental, and you know it, you love it, and that is referrals, and paid referrals at that. So you have been communicating with your customer. They understand exactly how your process works. They understand what they're getting or what they're not getting and why, and what the difference is all along the way. The first is, email and text or a Slack channel or something like that. That's fine. But now you start to take this to another level. They are your customer, and you can spend money going and prospecting and going and getting sales, or you can commission them and incentivize them to do it. So that return ranges from 75 to 90% likely that somebody is going to buy, just because your customer thought enough of you and is informed enough about what you're doing, and is so in tune with what's going on and is so happy with it, that they literally take their friend by the hand and they walk them over to you, and they place the friend's hand in your hand and say, take good care of this person. I'm bringing this to you. This is my reputation. This is important to me. It's important enough to me about what you do and the differences that we're making together, that I'm bringing my friend who has a need right over to you. In 75 to 90% chances that they will buy from you, just because their friend did that. And I'm here to tell you that is 3 times at least more of a return than the next best approach. There's 25 probably with, some other direct prospecting means, maybe social selling, that sort of thing, or webinars. You probably get about a 25% return on the average. I mean, I know there's some better than others. There's people that got a more than a 50% return, which is awesome, on a webinar that I know of. So, I mean, it's, or even higher than that sometimes, that you just come out with dozens of people that are interested in what you're doing. But the net on the average is about 25%. Maybe you get lucky and you get 40 to 50%. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but this starts at 75 and goes to about 92%. So which one would you rather have? So are you making referrals a part of what you do by handling the real communication and serving your customers well, and having the compelling offer for them, and actually backing it up with what you say you're going to do by providing that amazing product or service that only you can, that you're serving them well, and it works so well? I mean, you just can't say enough about referrals. And if it's that, maybe they'll bring you some for free, but I promise they will bring more if you pay them. And you will spend far less on paying them than you will on sales. I guarantee it. I can very much guarantee it. So pay them something that's worth it, okay? And just watch what happens. If you're doing everything right and they believe, and they believe in you, and you believe in yourself, you'll be blown away at what happens at referrals, okay? So the final one here, the final marketing fundamental, is reputation management. And most of you know and love what this is. But this is the value of testimonials. And this is how this connects all of this stuff together. I mean, if they're getting good results, then we need to be capturing that. If you're doing what you say you're going to do with your customers, you need to be capturing that in testimonials. You need to be capturing that in a review at the very least. This last weekend, we were in an area, part of Houston, we're not as familiar with. I mean, we're generally familiar with what's there, but there sometimes are new. It's kind of a it's a fun place. It's called the Kima Boardwalk, and so it has rides and games and things, but it also has really nice restaurants, and it's right on Galveston Bay, and so we know most of what's there because it's owned by one company and several variations, and they're the one that run it. That's the Landry's chain. But there's also some other restaurants and concepts and things that are there that are also running, that are just as good, but they're fly under the radar because they're not the big name restaurants. So we wanted to look, and of course we were looking up reviews like everybody else does, right? You've never done that at all, have you? So we're constantly looking for that. Needed an AC company that we trusted that we didn't necessarily know in the area. And one got a recommendation, a referral, if you will, from a friend about the AC company, but also looked them up online, and it backed up everything he said they were. And they behaved every way that he said they would, and gave us great service, and they had very high reviews as a part of it. And then they were capturing those reviews. They were reaching out, asking for them. So you need to do that for your business. If your business is serving clients that have this kind of need, you need to be reaching out for that too. Google values it. Facebook values it. Everybody values it. Get it done. Okay. End of story. They've said so many times about, yes, reviews can be fake. Yes, reviews can be all that. And so they're trying to take steps to make sure that doesn't happen. It still slips through the cracks, guys, but it's so much more worth doing. And it costs you so little to do it that it's just completely worth having. And they've changed some of now beware, there used to be a whole lot more of a clamp down on review gating and things like that. That's, keeping reviews away that have a lower, that are lower star number instead of 4 and 5 star reviews. So some of those rules have changed. They've relaxed a little bit. So beware of that. That those things can get out there, that people are able to review gate. So be careful. It's not ethical, and in many cases still not legal, but I see it starting to happen, and perhaps you do too. So be really careful with that, and advise your appropriate clients thereof that can be an issue. But these are just marketing fundamentals. These are simple to implement. These are things you should be doing already. These are things you should be coaching already. Whether or not whatever other service you offer, 2 of the 3 of these are they're actual billable services, to set, if you know how to set these up, marketers. So, and they cost next to nothing, and they provide, one of the things we're big about is adding value, not adding cost, or not add. So if you're going to jack up a price on something, just find a way to add a stupid amount of value to it. And then guess what? If within reason, they'll let you hike the price to whatever you want if they think they're getting tremendous value out of it. That's one of the things we talk about in our world, is increasing prices as a means to generate revenue, because that's real easy, because the costs are already taken care of. You're not changing the cost of what it is. You're increasing the price. And yes, the prices of everything are going up, guys. So to balance, the one and only way you can balance an inevitable price increase or a purposeful price increase, maybe you do it on purpose, maybe you can't help it, you have to. So what other things can you do to add value to that price? What are the services that don't cost you anything hardly extra to do, if at all, that you can do that make that item or product or service more valuable? And so then you can increase the price a fair amount. And as long as they perceive they're getting that value, they're going to follow right along. Okay. So these are the 3 marketing fundamental things, along with the market dominating position and the compelling offer, that I hope you will entertain in doing all of this, is to really make your business flourish over all the other strategies and all the other opportunities. And there are many. We can do up to 40. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there that will generate profits and revenue and clients for you. But to me, these three, and then the subset here of these additional three under the marketing fundamentals, these are the things these are the core. These are the absolute things that if you're doing these, everything else you do makes it easier, makes it just runs better because you're doing all this stuff. These are the absolute core essentials that you have to have for your business to flourish, and it will. I guarantee it. I can say with amazing amount of certainty that the successful businesses I have followed, including that AC company, by the way, they were doing all this stuff right. They were messaging all this correctly, and it showed, and it was amazingly different. Now their compelling offer and their market dominating position, not as much, but when they got out here, when they actually got to the call, they were doing everything right. He was doing everything they were supposed to do. He was providing, comfort and reassurance that they didn't go for the home run, price. You automatically need a new system, even to change a small capacitor. That doesn't work. They did everything right, particularly in the marketing fundamentals here where it counted. And so they got a very good review, and they will get my business going forward. So that's the successful businesses. Look and see how they do this. See if they have a market dominating position or a compelling offer, or these doing these fundamentals well. Just these three, let alone any of the others. Okay, there are others. All right, so that is basically what we do. So if you like this webinar, there's going to be some more like it. This one's going to be on our website. Just talk and shop here for the Facebook group here for just a minute, and for YouTube. But there's going to be these three other webinars as well. We call this proof to success. And so there's going to be more stuff like this. We're also on YouTube, thanks to my buddy Abujar over there, doing a great job keeping that channel going, helping me to do that and helping us to do that and to thrive. We're also on Rumble, for those of you, in case I say something controversial that gets me banned from YouTube, then Rumble is there to step up and take that place, if it's available where you are. So we're out there as well, though probably not as fancy because it's just me running it and not Abujar. So, hey. And then we have, of course, many of you are in the Facebook group, and we are nearing 4,000 people, and we're going to have fun when that happens. So thank you all for being a part of this. And as I said before, feel free to contribute to it. Besides, don't sit here and pitch everybody. Put something out there that's really, it's either asking a question or it's really contributing value, because that's what I've got to do in other Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups to try to get business. That's what I've got to go do. I'm going to go contribute value. I'm going to do what I tell you to do. We're going to be contributing value, answering questions, solving people's problems right there. And it helps build that credibility and that attention. So be doing that. Be a part of the solution. Don't just be there to pitch somebody and say you can help them with that. Don't do that. Do better. Do better than that by contributing real value, even though it doesn't get you any profit right away. It will get you profit, especially if you bring in all the rest of this stuff, right? Okay. So all this journey does start with, for any of those that are ready. And like I said, when you see this on the website, it'll be a lot more concise. And it will, because it's not for you guys. It's for the people who haven't come across this yet. And it will be more interactive. So, but this journey does start with the digital blueprint, success blueprint, or the digital success blueprint. And depending on what type of business you are. So if that's you, then you can jump right on there. In fact, we'll just kind of go to this. This talks about the process the business process that we follow here. So we start on the left-hand side over here, if I can find where my mouse pointer went. And that's with a strategy session, or maybe that's a call that we take about 20, 30 minutes and get to know each other and see if there's a fit. But then we want you here. We want you at the digital blueprint. The digital success blueprint and the success blueprint. We want you there starting that journey, because that's where we find that real value. That lays out the roadmap to get everything started. Then we come over here to the Profit Works. Okay. This is the implementation. This is rolling out what that looks like and finding even more value. And there's 4 versions of it. There's the regular Profit Works, the professional that adds some of those marketing fundamentals we just talked about, the premium that adds all that plus a social prospecting system, And or there's the jumpstart if you're, say, a freelancer or smaller and you're not quite ready for this. And this is the one that I mentioned. We get an hour's worth every week that I'm meeting with my clients, talking with them. This is unlimited 15-minute sessions up here. So this is not an hour. This is unlimited 15-minute sessions. So we're going to answer one or two things, and you're going to go on to the next thing. One or two things, and going to go on to the next thing. And you can't book that session until you've kind of come along there. So it's a process that we step through with you. And all along that, we do have the Success Academy down here. It's MBA, virtual MBA level training, guys. It really is. It's amazing. It'll make your head hurt. There's so much information. There's workbooks that come with it. There's downloadable audio. You can take it with you, so you can listen offline if you're on an airplane flight or in a car or something. Who knows? So, I mean, there's so much material that we have here, and we're really excited to bring that out, and we are stepping it out to everybody. So, using all the ways that we're talking about, I'm getting everything going with the prospecting now, reaching out to people. That's what probably some of those messages you heard were about. So, you will see us in more places, and I hope you come check it out. It does lead to the ProfitWorks implementation that we kind of talked about, and there are 4 different levels and 4 different price points to go along with them. But to see what that looks like, if you decide you're ready, let's book you one of 2 options here. If you've heard enough of this, you've gone through the fire hose and you really like what you're hearing, then this is how you get started, guys. One of 2 ways. If you're ready for the Success Blueprint or the Digital Success Blueprint, let's make that happen. Go to blueprint.jklworks.com. It is the first one. It's the basic is free, and I promise you, it is basic. We do standalone versions that do actually cost money, and they were a lot more involved. But we can find that entire $50,000 minimum in profits we're using 3 to 4 strategies in 50 minutes. That is the basic version, and that's what we start with. So if your business is ready for that, go there, book that time. Let's get started with it. Okay, let's get you set up. Let's make this happen. If you're not ready for that, or you have some other questions, or you have some basic things, then maybe a business breakthrough strategy session is for you. You're not there yet. You have questions that need to be answered. Okay, we can answer some of those, but it's going to be derivatives of these things that you've seen so far in this presentation. So, but that would be strategy.jklworks.com, and you set that up, and we'll spend about 20-30 minutes to get to know each other. This is what we do, guys. This is what we do. So I hope this resonates with you. I know this is a little sales pitchy, and I'd appreciate any feedback that you have in the comments section as to how it worked. Understand that you all are much farther in that journey than most of the people that will see this. So you got bonus material that not everybody gets to see. So I do appreciate that. But if you do have any feedback otherwise on the content and what's in here and whether or not that's worked for you, put it in the comments, no matter where you're watching this, and let us know how that can work for you. This is kind of I hope wraps up the series on real ways to jumpstart business life change. And I hope that has been amazingly helpful for you. I hope you're ready to take some next steps, whether that's with JKL Works or that's with somebody else. Or that's just within your own, you really know what you need. You just needed the kick in the pants to do it. Okay, so get out there and make it happen. But find ways to stand out. Find ways to be positively different than the thousands or tens of thousands of other people who are doing what you do and competing for the same business, and most of them not doing it very well. If you make even some slight overtures toward doing it this way, you will not regret it. You will find amazing success. If you want help figuring out what that looks like, then let's get together and talk about that, shall we? So I appreciate you watching this. If you have any questions, put those in the comments as well, or you can reach out to us at jklworks.com. And I hope this is beneficial for you. I hope this was something that's a little bit different than what you're hearing out there. But in some respects, I've been going back and watching some older videos from other people. And guys, it's not that different. It's just a matter of how you're going to act on it and pay attention to it. And so maybe this is the way you've heard this now for the 10th or 11th time, but maybe I said it in just the right way. that really resonated with you above anything else. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to get into some deeper topics a little bit later on. So I appreciate you staying a part of this, and share it with your friends, and any of these videos with your friends, because they're available all out there. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching.